The Tim and Jenn Show.
Hello, my name is Tim Ryan. Welcome to the Tim and Jenn Show. Sitting here with my amazing wife, co-host, best friend, business partner, her.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Jimenez Ryan, and we are so happy you guys are here today. Thank you for tuning in. It's just us today.
I like it sometimes like that because it is called the Tim and Jenn Show.
Yes.
A health and wellness show.
It's whatever we want.
It is.
Show.
And you again once again look absolutely fucking gorgeous.
Thank you,
You're
babe.
beautiful. You look really. I like your.
I got a new do.
Hair done by Peter DeRosa. Actually, he did our hair, my hair, and your
I know
hair.
you got a nice haircut
Yeah,
too.
but anyhow.
Okay, wait. I gotta say, I got a new do, and my hair is black. So to get it light, and you can't see because we don't have all the lighting that we normally do on. So we look a lot darker right now. But anyways, it was a million hours to do this. So I'm really excited. It's kind of a new look, new season.
I like it.
Coming in, and I gotta tell you, we are in Florida, and it's been beautiful. And all of a sudden, this crazy storm came in, and it's like black, and in the sky you can see a little bit, and then it's just rain. But being in Florida this trip meant for me that I wanted to get spiritually connected. There's this thing about Florida and me. When I came here 8 years ago, I found me and God dates, and I found God, and I found.
Hold on, explain that.
I'm going to.
Because
Okay.
you blew over that.
I go on dates with God, right? I started going on dates with God when I started coming here, and I'd go to the beach, and the waters here are so beautiful, and the beaches here are so beautiful. I fell in love with Del Rey. We are now in Lake Worth, and I am in love with Lake Worth. I am in love where anywhere there's water in Florida, in South Florida. But not only did I find that, I found a way where I was less jaded. And I say that to jaded, I mean by like when I was going back to LA and California and, the entertainment scene, like I was so excited to go back to California because I was removed from the everyday life of being in the entertainment industry. And I found this peace here. And last night I got to introduce my husband to a big thing that I did here, which was drum circle. Now, Tim, when we first met like 3 years ago, you did this whole like spiritual experience that we were doing on Sundays with Peter, and all these people would come in, and there's this magnificent thing that happened. But last night was the second full moon in a row. And we went to the full moon drum circle. My goodness.
It's an amazing experience. There's probably, I guess, 200, 250 people.
Yeah.
Jen and I, an hour and a half, 2 hours in, had walked and just stood on the beach and looked at the full moon. And I mean, this couple had their little kids swimming in the water, but that's a whole nother story. But the whole vibe. And then when we went back, Jen and Peter are dancing and
Okay, so wait, you get there and so for those who don't know, I'm sorry I cut you off. For those who don't know, you bring whatever musical instrument you want. You can just play along with everyone. They create this beautiful sound, and you can have many different experiences like you did.
That's what I was getting into until you rudely cut me off.
I'm sorry.
But like you, what I was saying is like you and Peter were really into the dancing, and I was into either laying down or just sitting there and being in the moment. And Mark and I were talking about that and just kind of sitting back and watching the movie. The guy in the chair to the right of me is in his own world. He would like talk to someone and then smoke a bowl of weed, and he was drinking something. And, we're talking, you could have doctors, lawyers, judges, police officers, indigent people. It doesn't matter. People are there for the experience. And I'm telling you, if you haven't done these things, explain why.
So I started researching. I went when I was going through a really bad breakup. I went the night that it all ended, and I get there. This is like 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago. And all these people started painting like faces on me or like things on me. And like, all of a sudden I'm like tribe with everyone. Right. So I started researching, and Drum Circle is a spiritual experience. And I know some people are like, that's so hokey pokey. And, you have all walks of life. No one gives a crap. It's at night. Everyone is there for the same thing, which is to have a spiritual experience.
The energy, the vibe, the aura,
sound, and I went and I started dancing because it was easier for me to loosen up this time. But at first, when I first used to go, I was like, kind of like, oh God, these are weird people. And like, you'd have sober people, you'd have people on acid, you'd have mushroom people, you'd have
all walks of life.
Yeah, all white people doing aerobics and yoga and all this crazy stuff there, and hula hoops. And we saw all that last night. But when I went out, my girlfriend Heidi, we came in with a tribe. Like there was like about 20 of us that came in rolling. And at first I was dancing and I was like just going with everything. But then Heidi came out with me and she goes, all right, I want you to close your eyes. Everyone's there. And I want you to plant your root. Right. And I went back to the basics of my early sobriety, like wiggle your feet, stand, with no, I was with no shoes on, wiggle your feet, feel the ground, feel the earth,
feel it all,
and it's all about feeling, and the moon's coming up and like everyone was honoring the moon. It was so cool, and the ocean and the sea, and talking about her and how powerful the universe is. And Heidi's like, I want you to feel the ground, like ugly dance, do the ugly dance.
Right.
And all of a sudden I had this spiritual experience where I literally saw myself like with these Aborigine women, and they were doing like an exorcism. And I came to you at one point and you were like, you just look like you went through an exorcism.
Yeah, Mark and I were sitting there watching you, and I'm like, it looks like she's having an exorcism.
And I didn't care. And people were like, yes, girl. And like, walking by, there's this girl with like this tutu on. She was so cute. And all I could feel was her tutu hitting me. But and I was like, that was like a fairy, doing that. I got to tell you, it was such a beautiful, remarkable thing. And I found my root. I found like, I let go of so many things that were hindering in me that I didn't even know, but I needed to let it all go. And I kid you not, you guys, I feel like a new person today. Like my attitude's different. My way I'm walking, the way
you look, the way you've just responded to me all day, you're a lot more chill. We both are.
And like, I felt the universe. I felt the power of God. Like I call it God. I was talking to God and like the moon and like loving everything. I don't know. I was like, I'm so happy that we got to experience that. And thank you for coming.
Well, you've got to, people that hear us think we're a recovery podcast, and we're not. We happen to be both in long-term recovery from, addiction and alcoholism, and we talk recovery and all that, but there's so many other variables to being sober. And when I say sober, I'm not talking that you have to be sober from drugs and alcohol. It's like your whole mindset. There's so many other variables in having a whole experience of life.
sober mind, emotional, sobriety. We all are stuck somewhere, right? Like whether you're an addict or not, or alcoholic or have mental health issues, like we all go through experiences and things. So what you mean by that is, how am I responding to you, right? Say you, and I'm hypothetically putting this, like, say you're in a mood, right? And like, I'm taking personal what's going on with you. It's not my responsibility to try to fix you. That's a you problem, right? So I have to realize like, that's your experience to go through. Now, if I overreact and then we start fighting or something happens, then what am I trying to fight for? Like, why am I making it my problem? We just this last week, and we haven't even written down that part of what I'm about to say, but last week there was this moment where I had to completely surrender. And I didn't realize that I was completely hindering someone from their ability of getting better because I was co-signing the bullshit. And my husband said to me, "You're too close. Let me handle this." And it was the first time that I felt so much peace that I went, I need to let someone else handle this because I am too close to this. And you jumped on a plane and you helped a situation and a family that needed it. And I am eternally grateful for you to show up, that you showed up. And I know that you would go to any lengths, especially for our family. But I let the process happen. And I said, God, maybe this is it. Maybe it was me letting go and going, this is not, I'm only going to cause more damage to the situation. And it was like, I realized that I couldn't make anyone feel better or get better. I don't have that saving responsibility or ability, you know, and that I was still trying to play God in this, and that I was in an enabling situation. And I'm 15 and a half years sober. When it's so close to you, you don't realize it, you know, and I've been able to walk away from certain situations to allow myself that distance for other people when they're ready. And I mean, friends to come and get better, you know, that they can come to me, because I don't want to push anything down. But here I was trying to save somebody from something by making them more sick, by co-signing.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, I've done that, you know, with my son, Nick, unfortunately, who died from a drug overdose. I've done it with Tanner, Max, Abby. I've done it with all of my kids. And, you know, I want to take a step back here, Jen, with what we were talking about, the true sobriety, the emotional sobriety, because we do this weekly podcast, but then we have so many other things. Like last week, Monday, Tuesday into Wednesday, it was back-to-back meetings, meeting interventionists, therapists, treatment centers, doing what we do. Then I get this call, have to scramble. And I literally went to the airport, got on a plane with the backpack, did that, flew back Saturday to Florida, doing interventions, dealing all these things, plus having to manage all their calls and this. It isn't easy. It's very tough. But then when I come back, I have to be centered. And I thank you, my wife, because of all the tools you have. You know how to deal with me. It hasn't always been this way. But Jen and I have learned how to communicate and read and feel each other and, you know, utilize these other things. And I want to go back to the drum circle, because I'm the type of guy that I don't give a shit. This stuff's kumbaya, it's stupid.
You're like a guy's guy.
And I wasn't going to go. And I'm like, you know what? I need to go support my wife and Peter and Mark. And it's not always about if I'm going to have fun. And I just went there and I said, I'm going to experience it. And I kind of flopped around for 15 minutes on the ground and shuffled to go take a pee. And then I just got into it. And I had a really exhilarating experience. But what I enjoyed the most was watching you and Heidi and Peter and seeing you in your element. But that's why we do these things and communicate and talk. And, you know, because there's so much shit going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much shit going on. And like, just to let you guys know, I mean, like, this is just 1 second of our lives. Like, you know, in the midst, yesterday, we had to go to urgent care for me. I've mentioned to you guys that I'm not doing all that well. And in the midst of all the madness that's going on, I also have very I have health issues going on that are very severe and very serious. And here I was.
Well, we went there because your wrist is sore because.
So my bone density is very low. It's like
brittle.
Brittle right now. So my bones can break very easily. And my wrist has, hence the reason why I'm wearing a cast, as you guys have seen, some of you through the last couple of shows. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And there's some other things going on. And so I didn't want to go to the hospital. We're in Florida. It's fucking wild, wild west, crazy COVIDville here. It's out of control. And we go.
Well, I went the day before.
And it was a 2-hour wait, and there was people all outside, and all I saw was just sick people. I was like, I'm not going in there. And we went early in the morning, and it ended up being 2 hours. But we were the only non-COVID room.
Well, when we got there, there was 2 patients at least sitting in the waiting room. We filled everything out. We went outside, and within 10 minutes, the lobby was completely full. And these kids, little kids, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, 6 years old,
super sick,
all runny noses. They all have COVID.
So we talked to the nurse, because we were there, and we're like, no, you know, we're vaccinated, this and that. So she starts feeling very comfortable with Tim and I, which we kind of tend to do that, you know, and she starts telling you, I kid you not, you guys, from my mouth to God's ears, I swear this, I Bible it, I hashtag Bible. Like, I'm telling you the truth. She says, well, we're all being treated like we have COVID. And we're like, what? She's like, all we see is COVID patients. You guys are the only non-COVID patients coming in the last few days. They see between 180 to 200 people a day. They used to see like 70 average before COVID. So we all of a sudden, as soon as he said that, Tim tightened his mask, like it was going to like lock him or her from not getting COVID. But she's like, I have COVID. We're like, what? She just gave me a thermometer, the whole thing. And it freaked us out. Like she can't ask for a COVID test
at her job at an emergency walk-in clinic because they're so short staffed. And
they would have to shut down.
What happened that you read to me today about doctors walking out?
Yes. 75 doctors did a walkout in South Florida today because Sarasota, which is a Republican county here, and they were like, no, it's over, done. They're sick of it. They're tired of seeing people not vaccinated going into the hospital. And I'm going to tell you something. It fucking freaks me out. I'm sorry for my bad language, but I am getting now fucking pissed, and I need to talk about it. And this is our platform to be able to do whatever the fuck we want. I saw it yesterday. I saw sick kids. I saw grown-ups. I saw 70, 80-year-olds super sick. And these people are going to go and get treated, for COVID. Or then I go to CVS,
then
right?
We go to CVS.
And there's 3 guys with no mask at the counter. And they're like, we need the COVID test. We have COVID. We're really sick. They're not masked. And they're saying this. And I'm like, what?
It's like
I'm freaking out. Like I'm starting having panic attacks. Mental health issues right there, you guys, because I'm having panic attacks and anxiety. It's starting to freak me out. And I'm in Florida. It doesn't matter if I'm in California, Nashville, or Guam right now. Like it's the same thing worldwide. And you need to do something about this, because if you don't do anything about this, we're never going to get better.
No, and I think this isn't, I'm not into friggin' politics. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a health safety issue. Mm-hmm. I mean, Christ, I couldn't imagine. We were talking with Tom Sizemore today, the actor, who's a friend of ours. And Tom was asking about when we had COVID a year ago. And I said, Tom, it was 10 weeks of hell on earth. We were talking about the 2 nights you almost had to go to Cedar Sinai. And he's like, acting my whole life is this. And he said, I'm afraid to go on set because I don't know who's vaccinated.
No.
He said, I'm kind of hiding up in my house in the hills. I don't want to be around people, And
the nurse yesterday, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
The nurse yesterday said, we asked her, what are you seeing most? She goes, mainly kids. And if not 70, 80-year-olds. And when they're that old and they have it, the chances of them getting better are very slim. And, the aftermath, the long haulers, long COVID of older people, like if it's not for yourself, do it for your parents or your aunts, uncles, your kids, somebody, do it for somebody. I'm just telling you guys, this is not going to get, but I'm freaked the fuck out. Like I'm not going anywhere except that I had to go to urgent care to make sure my wrist wasn't broken. Thank God it's not. But, and I'm freaked. I'm freaked. I'm the perfect example why you shouldn't get COVID because of all the things I have. And once again, when I'm ready, I'll talk to you guys about that. And I'll tell you exactly what has happened and is happening to me. I'd like to do it when I'm in a better place and that I have more answers. But yeah, that really freaked me out. And again, I just seeing these people, like they're walking around like as clueless.
It really
clueless.
Baffles me how fucking stupid so many people are and how much common sense is just completely out the window. This isn't rocket science. This isn't debating. We work in the substance abuse mental health field. I can't tell you the amount of treatment centers now that COVID's going through and sober living homes and old folks. I mean, it's just common sense. And I'm not here to debate anything. I don't ever want to get it again.
No.
Never. I wouldn't wish it. I'd rather kick heroin in a prison cell than have COVID.
I mean, and then I know people will be like, well, you went to drum circle. We were outside. No one was like close in our space, doing our thing. It was interesting. I do got to say about the drum circle. I'm going to keep going. I swear, if I could do drum circle every night, I'd be the happiest girl and I'd be in the best shape
That's
possible.
What you actually texted me.
Yeah. Can we go chase drum circles every day?
Can we go chase drum circles every day? But you know what? It's those things that we need, Jen, to keep us.
You guys, I'm not like a hippie kind of chick at all. I'm not into I believe in, I believe in God. I believe in universe. I believe in kindness and good things and all that. but like, I'm not here to put my views on you. I'm just saying to you that like, if you Google drum circle, you'll realize it's so therapeutic, not only for people early in recovery, people at all types of walks of life. It helps you on so many levels that you wouldn't even understand, because you're going in a rhythm, you're going in this thing and you're with a group of people, but yet it's your own your experience.
Right.
And, you know, we went, Heidi took me and made me do this prayer as the moon was coming up, and then we went in the water and we cleansed, and it was magical. And there's girls that were in G-string bikinis, like in the circle.
You had asked me something. You said, I wonder how many people actually have experienced things like this.
Yeah, because people are so closed-minded. And like, at this point, like, how closed-minded do you really want to live? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want to do, my hat's off to you. But don't you want to be able to experience everything? You know, the most that you could possibly experience, good things in life. This is a good thing. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that, because how many people have never left the state they live in, have never left the county,
are stuck in their phones, like Googling or
just stuck in all of it. I mean, you have taught me a lot to turn the phone off, to put it away. Social media, if I didn't start these stupid pages to kind of brand speaking in this, I'd get rid of it. I would get rid of it. The one thing I like is being able to keep up with friends that I've had my entire life or people's journeys. But outside of that, I would rather get to know my inner self better, and just become a better person.
See, you're really good like that though, because like, I honestly, and I've mentioned this a few times, I really suck at posting lately. I don't really care. Like, I have other things to do. And like, when I do have the downtime, I'm reading or I'm binge watching a show with my husband.
What have we been binge watching?
Vikings, and I want every hairdo in there. Mm-hmm. Damn it, the girls are so hot on that show. And they're powerful, badass women.
Donal was in that.
Yes, our friend Donal Logue was in this.
Yeah.
Who will be on our show very
coming
shortly.
Up very soon.
Yeah, we have some amazing guests.
Donal's an actor. He just co-wrote Danny Trejo's book. So we got some cool people coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Got some really cool people coming up. It's
very exciting, the people that have wanted to do our shows and have agreed to do our shows. So I'm really honored by that. You know, I gotta say, I was thinking about this earlier when I was walking Melee, is that as every week, every guest has really been so open and vulnerable, and they've been so honest, and they've taught me so much and allowed me to grow, and see that like, everyone has this perception that everyone needs to be a certain perfect, right? There is no perfect, but people all experience so much. And when they share those information with us, I'm like absorbing it all.
It's powerful, because we kind of have a few things outlined, but we just kind of go with the flow with the guests. Mm-hmm. And it's popping, it's great. But I think it's our energy and how we work together and bicker and banter and love and care and cut each other off. But that's what makes it work.
Yeah, but we do laugh.
Yeah,
you laugh so much.
If you don't laugh, you are in trouble.
I mean, I literally said to you, I think you're the funniest person I've ever met. And like, honestly, I know a lot of funny people, you guys. I know like professional comedians. I know hilarious people in life. And I grew up on the SNL set. Like, I mean, I've met funny people, and you're the funniest I've ever met.
You dated a comedian.
A few.
Chris Kattan. Who else?
I'm not doing that right now. Yes, Chris Kattan. He's like
Andy Dick.
He's the third longest relationship I ever had.
How long?
3 years.
The third? Who counts? That's the third longest relationship I had.
Yeah, the other one was. Oh wait, the other two was 5 years and 4 years. Then I had like a couple 2 years here and there. Yeah.
Okay. That's really life-changing.
You're such an ass.
Well, that was so fucking powerful, Jennifer. I moved. I moved. I just want to see you playing Dancing at the Roxbury or some shit like that. Yeah. Wasn't he in that movie?
Yeah.
I just remember some goofy scene from Dancing at the Roxbury. Yeah.
That was like a dumb, like low right there. Like we went low, like, okay, dull.
No. So somebody had messaged me today and said, "Are you guys still living in LA? Everyone's moved on to California." And Tom was talking about that today too, saying, he's thinking of getting out of LA. A lot of people are. What are your thoughts?
It's weird. Okay, so we've been here a couple weeks. It
happens.
And I am like kind of itching a little bit to go back. I'm completely content here though. Like, I mean, when you were gone, I went on dates with God to the beach. It was amazing. And I saw my mermaids and like, I do this whole ceremony thing before I go in the water. And it's like, I'm re-cleansed and, re-baptized. And I don't know, it's weird. It's like,
I'm asking you about LA.
But wait, I love these experiences. I could do this. I don't do that in LA.
That's the problem.
I do itch to go back because I'm like, okay, I can wear cuter clothes there. This and that. I mean, it's so hot here, but my mom's there. But that's it. I mean, the entertainment world right now is at a place where we don't know what's happening. Things are being shut down left and right. But the great thing about acting for me is I can totally Betty White it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I could be 90 and I could still be acting, and I love acting, and I can always act. And I don't know. I'm kind of leaning more here.
Yeah,
I do miss LA though a little bit.
I miss a lot of the people there. And
we have some amazing friends.
Yeah, we got some great friends. We got a great tribe, a good sober community, just good friggin' people. That's what I'm torn on, but I don't miss the traffic and, like the ocean. You can come here, walk right in it. LA, I'm afraid to go near the water.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're literally 2 blocks from the water right here, so.
Yeah, and I haven't seen too many homeless people down here. No offense. I love the homeless. But Los Angeles County,
well, we have homeless in our backyard, sitting in our chairs and like in the front, and like I mean, it's.
And we don't live in a bad neighborhood at all.
No, at all. You guys. And so the thing is, it's like it's always scary because you're talking about like, are these people completely gone? Are they going to beat the shit out of me?
Are they schizophrenic? Yeah.
But then again, I'm at Walmart when you're out of town, and in Florida, I went to like the wrong Walmart, and I like this bubble water there. It's like my like guilty pleasure, but it's flavored water, and. I'm there and these people weren't wearing masks, and I literally thought I was going to get in a fight. These 2 girls were going to beat the crap out of me, but I was like, I have underlying conditions. Stop. I could feel their like spit hitting my back. Mm-hmm. And like, there was no social distancing. And then afterwards I was walking out and I was trying to like pull my card out. Like, I just looked like that prick, but I don't want to get COVID. So don't be ganging up on my space. Like,
I get it.
Give me my space. And like, I don't know. I just realized that they did it at CVS too. Like, God bless them. They were older, but like the space, like just give me I don't like being like my space being invaded, especially when I don't know you.
How about you speak up too?
That's all. I do. And I'm always afraid like they're gonna be like, what are you gonna do? And like, punch me, but whatever.
Yeah. And when I flew back.
People are so aggressive though. That's why.
When I flew, you just never know what it's going to be like on the plane. Thank God the flight there and back was fine, but people are canceling flights now. Airlines are down 30%. And I just saw some of our friends in California aren't canceling trips to New York. So who knows?
I mean, the thing is, LA right now is going to get even worse. It's fire season coming, even though it's been fire season for 5 months already. But, it's scary. LA is like in a really bad place. And
well, the state's in disarray. They're trying to get rid of the governor, and who knows? It's just, I think it's time to maybe get out of LA, but we can go back. Mom's here. And I don't know. I'm always up in the air. What are you looking at?
How cute you are.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's go back to the emotional sobriety and emotional sobriety, healthy living. Sometimes I can tell that sometimes people, especially in recovery, I could see this. When they're going through something, like say someone is newly sober and they're not drinking or doing drugs, but there's no work being done on them, they're going to act out.
Explain in more. What do you mean no work being done?
Say you stop drinking and doing drugs, whether you go to treatment or you do it on your own, and there's no therapist, there's no like recovery program, there's no working out, there's no walks, there's no drum circles, spiritual, going to church, doing whatever they do, ooh la la, whatever. they're going to start acting out.
Well, you're a dry drunk first
Yes,
off.
which is dry drunk is someone who is doing all the actions as if they were using, but they're not using. And they're acting out sexually, shopping, gambling, you could see.
Lying, cheating, stealing.
But you could see the agitation. So it's before the acting out, lying, cheating, stealing. It's like when you see me and I'm like uncomfortable, right? It's that little moment that you have right there and that emotional sobriety that if he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, it's done. I'm not telling him what's really going on with me. And it may have nothing to do with him, but I'm not expressing, babe, this isn't about you. I'm actually really missing my dad today, or like, you know what? I'm not feeling good, right. But if I'm like in that between moment before I act out, right? If people see me agitated, angry, kind of feisty, kind of like short-tempered
all the time, yeah.
I could be acting out emotionally. Like, it's like I'm still sober, right? I'm not drinking, I'm not using, but I'm still using, you know what I mean? Like I'm using other things.
To fill that void.
To fill that void and that hole and that, and the only thing that can fill that is something bigger than me alongside with me. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like I'm giving myself to God, right? I say God, say whatever you want. I'm giving myself to the universe and the moon and the full moon and the drum circle. That was so much bigger than me last night, right? I'm giving myself over to something that's more powerful. And I'm getting very clear with what I want and what I don't want. And if there's things like the other day woke me up.
No, you're getting, I know, I want to stop you. Get back to the average person out there. If their emotional sobriety is off, what are some tools they can do?
Let me say. So the other day, for someone who knows about codependency, and being the enabler and doing all that, I'm aware of all this stuff, right? But the other day I realized that I was powerless and that I couldn't do it, and something snapped. And that moment, everything changed for me. And I went, you know what? I'm going to trust the process. And I gave it over and I turned it over to a power greater than me. And you took over and you took care of it with law enforcement and other people. And I was like, this is so much better this way. But that moment, I instantly changed. And I said, I am no longer, let me finish, going to co-sign anybody, including my husband's bullshit. I do not want to enable anyone else into a grave. I want to be as open and honest and very clear and real with people today. Like, I don't have to say yes because I have to be nice and fake and this and that. Like, I don't need to like you and you don't need to like me, and that's okay. That is totally fine. Let me live my motherfucking life and you go live yours. You know what I mean? Like, that is just as good for me than anything else. Like, I have allowed a lot of people to walk over me recently because I didn't know how to be a wife, and so I let your ex-wives, who are fucking crazy, one of them, do all this shit and me not say anything. And in the end, this doesn't matter, but I now know I should have been much more proactive with defending my boundaries of things, and it's just not healthy. So there's all these little things that I allowed to happen that no longer will happen in my life. And I'm very happy about that.
I mean, now that you open this door, I mean, it's like, I was already in the middle of getting my second divorce when I met you, but the shit I went through in that relationship, I've never talked about, and we don't have to talk about it today. But I feel, because all the bullshit, coming home from trips, my house being cleaned out, bank accounts drained. This lady was a basket
catching her with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple relapses, in and out of psych wards, in and out of treatment centers, and
it's a lot of trauma.
It's a lot of trauma, the emotional abuse, everything, but I never fucking talked about it. And it's like, the point I'm trying to make, Jen, it's like, was I trying to cover for her that realization just hit me. Like, I'm just trying to make things better. When I divorced that individual, I didn't have to pay alimony, none. We're only married 13 or 14 months. I offered to a substantial amount. And then that person starts smoking weed and doing all, you're supposed to be sober and all this. And in hindsight, I would have got full custody of Mackenzie and we'd be content. But the point I guess I'm trying to make is quit letting people fucking walk on you.
Well,
speak your truth.
Also, when you walked into life, outside of what you thought you needed to fill because everyone was taking from you constantly, that when you started trying to fill your own void, right?
Yeah.
And we go back to the void, you know, spiritually, like a spiritual void that we're not having. And you weren't telling anyone. And like, we've talked about this on the show that like, you looked like you were 6 months away from either blowing your brains out or just jumping.
Well,
like,
I was a full-time workaholic. I mean, well,
I would be too if I were you.
Speaking all over the country, living on airplanes, home for 2 days.
I would be too. The insanity that you lived in.
I just went back to spend 2 or 3 days with Mackenzie, and then
you lived in. But see, like
I
you were, and then we get together, right? And so I'm like, okay, so that's his journey, his problems, and all of a sudden, like I wanted to fix your problems. I can't fix your problems, nor could I be the punching bag of the problem.
Right. But what you ultimately did was get me connected with a great therapist, but loved me and supported me and gave me tools and talked and communicated and talked and communicated. And
I'm gonna round this all up, you guys. So like with that is I go back to the emotional sobriety, and there was no emotional sobriety in your life. And you had moments, but you didn't have emotional growth, like because you were so trapped down. And I have lived in that for a long time. And then I stopped and then I started again. So then when I got together with you, it was like, I had no idea the chaos I was going to be thrown into with the wolves.
Let's go even back to when Nick died, you know, on my 21-month sobriety date, my son, but then I dig deep into I got to help people. I got to save. And I'm in this awful fucking relationship. Yeah, I was a hot mess. I was a real hot mess.
To realize that you were so damaged I realized that, and I saw it in you. You know, listen, I learned a great lesson in my last relationship. I remember I was talking to this girl and she said, and I was like, oh my God, I saw I can see things in people. And so I saw the person he was capable of being. And she looked at me, she was like, girl, let me tell you something. Take people for face value. And I was like, slap in the face. And I will always take people at face value now. So I took you for face value. However, I didn't know all the other stuff that was coming. And so I was like, okay, he needs room to grow. So now we've been able 3 years later, we're in a place where we communicate. And I said, cut back to, you go on this intervention. It was crazy wild ride for 3 days, 72 hours. You were delirious.
I don't think I slept for 48 hours.
Yeah. And so, you know, and you're dealing with a lot of other responsibilities. And I said to Tim when he came back, and I saw in his movements, right? We're talking on the phone. I said, babe, we were FaceTime. And I was like, I can't wait for you to come back to Florida and you slow down. And so yesterday, when you came back Saturday night, I was really I was like, babe, just breathe. And I didn't want to tell him to change, but I just kind of want to throw some tools that he already knew, because we need to be reminded. Breathe, take some moments, slow down your movements. And then I was like, I hope by Monday he'd be slowed down. And you got it last night when you went to drum circle. And I talk about the emotional whole thing is, I said to you when you came back, babe, you need a wellness day for you. You need, to kind of heal,
recharge,
because all the experience you saw, you were back in the chaos. And I'm sure that brings up a lot for you.
It does. And personally. That's why in this whole business, I've taken a huge step back, dissolving the nonprofit and not doing the things I did career-wise, and we're doing a bunch of other things now, but I needed to slow down. I want to enjoy time with my wife. And what's the sense of being out there doing giving if you don't have any time for yourself to recharge and enjoy the feuds of life? Yeah,
we had Mackenzie for 3 weeks prior to that, and you got to be there with her and have those experiences. And then we got to see Abby, and I mean, it's a constant, it's evolving, it's still going with the times. And I say this to you guys because it goes back to emotional growth and emotional sobriety within yourself. It goes back to am I spiritually connected to something bigger than me, whatever that is, Is it music? Is it God? Is it, Buddha, Allah, whatever? I keep going back to these things because is it bigger than you? And honestly, to all those, I really want to believe that humanity is really amazing still. But then I have to deal with people that are going to be in your life for the next 12 years that are so unhealthy, and they're little, yes, and people that write stupid blogs and do all these things, and then you're like, there's so much hatred still in the world, like, and it's coming from people that you were like involved in life. Like, it's just weird. I'm so
People
glad
are
I don't
fucked.
have that
People are so
in my life.
yeah.
I just don't understand, like, with everything that's going on in the world right now, with COVID, with, you know, people hanging onto planes and getting killed as they're trying to hold on to the outside of planes in the Middle East because they want freedom, that there's still room for hatred.
Yeah.
How is there still room for jealousy and hatred? Like, do not be jealous of the world that I live in. I'm not jealous of the world you live in. Go live your life, go find your happy, and like, stop stalking me on social media or anything I do.
Well, it's like, it's like I had posted a picture in a closed private support. It was called Man in Recovery Group. Now it's Dope to Hope on Facebook. And I posted a picture from 3.5 years ago at a speaking event. And I was representing the Transformations Treatment Center, who I used to work for. Have nothing bad to say about them. And it had a CARF logo and a Joint Commissions logo and some other things. And somebody reports me for using logos. So I called the lady at Joint Commissions and CARF. And I said, is this really an issue that you're concerned about? I said, what about when there's been issues at drug treatment centers and people have reported them and you do absolutely nothing, but you want to harass me over saying I can't use your logo? I'm baffled by things. People worry about the wrong friggin' shit.
Well, I think that people are like so sick, poisoned inside. Like, I don't even want those spirits. Like,
I want nothing to do with them. Well, so that goes back to, Jen, your circles, your energy, your life force. It is all going to be transcended to you by the people you associate with. If you're hanging out with people that are bad energy, get them out of your fucking lives. Because if not, you're going to get sucked down with them. I have
such phenomenal girlfriends in my life. I have such solid, like, Brandy Glanville. I have, Tara Connor. I have Heidi McGurk, who's my wife. Like, I love that woman. I just want to eat her. Like, I have Patty Barrett. I have phenomenal women. My sponsor, I can go on and on. The list goes on and on.
And then there's a bunch I'm glad aren't in our life.
Yeah. And then I have amazing guy friends. We have amazing guy friends. And you know what's great is that
Gregory and Lawrence,
the guy friends that I introduced to Tim. And so we're all family, and
Ricky and Jim and Courtney.
Oh God, I love my Courtney. And it's moments like that where I'm like, how could there still be poison out there?
Yeah.
Like, how could your venom be that bad? How could you be that sick that,
and what are we supposed to do? Pray for our enemies and move on.
But then you have people that are in the recovery space, and I'm sure it's like this for all industries.
I don't know.
That are maybe not. I hope it's not. Actually, I hope it's not. That, this kid that I've known for the last 8 years, where I've been speaking all across the country, I've seen him in probably 15 treatment centers. And every time he gets sober, he's not going to get back into the recovery world, try to work in it, and he gets back in it. And then today you were talking to him.
Well, I saw him put a post on Facebook that he's flying to another state. So I called him and I'm like, I thought you were living in Florida and working for a treatment center. Oh yeah, well, it was so stressful and I wasn't working a program and I relapsed a month and a half ago. And I said, my best advice to you is go work on yourself and don't ever try to get work in this industry again. Not for a minimum of 2 years. These are topics we speak about. There are so many people that work in the substance abuse and mental health field that are in recovery. They are sober, clean and sober, that think their job is their recovery. Your job is your job.
Okay. Can I say something regarding that? So this is a perfect example. When we say your job is not your recovery is different. You are trying to fill a void if you're newly sober, trying to work in treatment, by your codependency, by going and trying to save other people. You may want to deal with the hardship, the loss, the pain, the hurt, the confusion, the anger you have within yourself because of things that have happened to you, which I totally understand. In the sense that we all have experiences and have gone through some hardship. And this is why we drink and use and many other things go on and underneath lining, mental health and all this stuff. But you need to fill that void, not by trying to help and save other people, because that will not fill your spirit.
Well, I've had people come to me and say, well, you got out of prison and you were working in treatment. No, I wasn't. I was in a therapeutic community. I went through all the steps, did thousands of hours of cognitive behavior therapy, about 1,840 hours, I think we did. Then I got out, sponsored through the steps again in 2 months, but then I started support groups. Then I set up the nonprofit. Then at 2 years sober, I stumbled into working in treatment. So I had the foundation, it's like the day my son died, I was 21 months sober. First call was to my sponsor. And I went to a meeting. You were thrown in a
place where, you didn't, it was God's path,
right?
But you were over 2 years sober.
Oh yeah.
I was 2.5 years sober.
The point is, and this kid, I said, why are you trying to help people when you can't help yourself? You have in last week, this Yahoo's back and these relapse kings and that's why social media, these dumbasses are supporting these people. I know people that have relapsed 5-10 times in the 7 years I've been in this industry, and they're back out trying to help people.
Yeah.
Get a clue, man. Go do something else.
Well, okay, so we saw a friend, I don't want to even mention their name. We saw friends of yours came over last night before we went to Drum Circle, and one of them doesn't work in the recovery space anymore. He works on the other side of it. He looks 15 years younger. He looks the best he's ever looked. He's skinny. He's calm. His demeanor, everything about him. And I was in awe. And you don't want to know why? Because he's not working in this industry. So it just makes me question. I don't do what you do. We do it differently. And we do things like I was doing it differently. And I just, want us to stick to it, trying to empowering people. And yet in the same time, I have to tell myself that I've gone through things where, again, last night I was reunited with the love of my life. Like one of the great things that makes me feel like this bliss in life. And also, I've been able to do the Drum Circle and recharge and really refuel. And I've been able to self-care a lot more. My energy, regardless of what I'm going through with my illness, has been different. But I've been doing a lot of self-care.
Well, so the moral of this podcast is, take the time to look at your internal energies and clock and your emotional sobriety and see what needs to be added to your plate to make you a better person in the sense of being whole. Make yourself happy. Is not, if I make $100,000 a year, I'm going to be happy. If I make $250,000, I'm going to be happy. If I get this house, I'm going to be happy. No, you should be happy right now. And if you're not, none of that other shit matters.
I had fame, fortune. I made millions, you guys, millions. And none of that filled me. Not one thing filled me because I needed to do the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And it was even that house or that car or that whatever, it didn't fill me.
Right.
You can only fill yourself.
That is it.
And by the people you surround yourself with.
Yes. So
you guys,
we want to thank Lux Media, Candace, everything you guys do, Chris.
Thank you.
Candace. We want to thank our sponsors. If you're interested in sponsoring the show, send me an email, tim@dopetohope.com, DOPETOHOPE.com.
And to everyone listening right now, I hope that this week you take 5 minutes to fill yourself, at least for 5 minutes, with something that will fill your spirit, not the outside, your spirit. It's a really crazy time right now. Be good to yourself, be good to the people around you.
Check in on your friends.
Check in on your friends and know that we love you and we thank you for riding this journey with us.
For the Tim and Jenn Show, I'm Tim Ryan, my amazing wife, Jennifer Menace Ryan. We love you. We'll be back next week. Later, skaters. Peace. We want to talk to you about Clean Cause, better caffeine. What's in the can? Our organic, sparkling Herba Mate is a premium pick-me-up that won't let you down. Every can of Clean Cause contains 160 milligrams of better caffeine, and each sip supports recovery from alcohol and drug addiction. 50% of the profits go to assist people into sober living. Check out cleancause.com.
Seaside Palm Beach is an executive luxury addiction treatment center located in Palm Beach, Florida. Our private clients come from all over the world, including business executives, professional athletes, celebrities, and more. Seaside Palm Beach offers first-class amenities and high-end accommodations, including a gourmet culinary experience, ocean views, pet-friendly facilities, and access to cell phones and laptops during your stay. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, please call us at 877-959-5053. Again, that number is 877-959-5053.
Now, glutathione is a big word, but it's the body's own master antioxidant. So it's a scavenger for free radicals, for bacteria, and what's relevant now, viruses. This is new to the marketplace. There's no other product on the market that has the ingredient NACET.
And basically NACET increases the production of that glutathione that is in our body already to strengthen and enhance our immune system and keep it strong. Elevated sense of well-being. Supports muscle strength and endurance. Cognitive function. Powerful liver support. Energy. Helps blood sugar regulation. Superior bioavailability of key ingredients.
One of your best defenses against COVID is a strong immune system. Taking GSH Plus as a daily supplement does all that. And now we have the product out on the marketplace.